Learning algebra with Ms. Rodriguez. By the end of this video, you will understand writing equations in vertex form. So in previous videos, we've already discussed what a horizontal and a vertical translation means. So reminders, a horizontal translation is a shift in our parent graph from left to right, from the center left or right rather, and a vertical translation is a shift in your parent function up or down. So the H is responsible for horizontal translations and the K is responsible for vertical translations in our vertex form equation, which again is written as y equals a parentheses x minus h close parentheses squared plus k. So we want to write an equation in vertex form that represents the parabola shown in our picture. We need to know that our parent function starts off from the center, the origin. So our parent function of any quadratic is always in the center. You can think of the imaginary parabola where our vertex is in the origin. So I want to match our new vertex to our origin because that's where I can kind of count the shift. So I see that we have moved 1, 2, 3 units to the left. So I'm going to tell myself that I moved 3 units left so that I can identify if this means an H or a K or what does it mean. So because we moved left, that means I need to know that my H is going to be a negative number. So I'm going to say that H is equal to -3. Negative for the left and the 3 for the number of units I moved. Now, because I did not go up or down at all from the origin, I can say that my K is equal to 0. Now, my A, because I am not shifting or adding any of these values for A, we're going to let A be 1 for now. Until we talk about reflections and compressions and stretches. So for now, for the purposes of writing an equation, A is equal to 1. So once you know what each letter's value is, we can go ahead and write an equation because our goal is to just keep everything the same. And we're just going to replace A, H, and K with numbers. So Y is equal to, well, A should be 1 for the purposes of this video. We keep the parentheses, we keep the x, we keep the minus because that minus comes from the formula, but we fill in h with the number we said h should be, which h should be -3. We close parentheses, we put in a square, and now we're going to fill in a number for k. And k should be 0, so plus 0. Now, obviously, we don't need to include imaginary ones because in math, we don't usually write the number 1 in front of a variable. And we don't need to include that we're adding 0. We also need to do some simplification because I have a minus, a negative, and we also don't like that. So I'm going to simplify my answer by saying y is equal to, open parentheses, x, double negatives turn into a positive, 3 squared, and I do not need to say plus 0. So if I were to type this equation into a calculator to get the picture, I would get my blue parabola as the image. So in this example, we want to write the equation in vertex form again. The difference is I don't have the picture given to me. It is telling me exactly what happened. So in this transformation, my image translated up 3 units. So I need to again identify my A, H, and K. As I mentioned, A is always going to be 1 for the purposes of this video. And we want to translate up 3 units. So I need to identify what letter that means. So because we said up, we are talking about K, and that means K is going to be a positive number. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in my K. 3 units, so positive 3. Because it's not telling me anything about left or right, that means I didn't move anything. So H is going to be 0. And again, because we want to write an equation, then I'm just going to write the equation by filling in A, H, and K with my numbers. So Y is equal to, A is the number 1, parentheses, X and minus all stay, H is the number 0, close parentheses squared, and then k is positive 3. So now I just want to simplify because I don't want to write imaginary ones, and I never want to say that I'm adding or subtracting by 0 because that doesn't really feel necessary. We know that adding or subtracting by 0 does not change anything. So now I'm just going to simplify my answer. So y equals x squared plus 3. So because I didn't have anything happening with the x in the parentheses, I no longer kept the parentheses. I just went straight to x and the squared. And now I have my equation. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with fellow educators or students.